Would it be a bit silly to be here to test a €1 million sports boat and just play with the toilet glass the whole time? This is the Dominator Midi Ilumen 35M, and we've not heard from Dominator in a while. It seems they've been busy stuffing the 28-metre Ilumen in the hot wash to produce this scaled down version. It really is a bit of a case of honey, I shrunk the super yacht. It has that distinctive Dominator style and liberal attitude to customisation, only on a 10.5 metre footprint and with a €1.2 million price tag. And we happen to be testing it in one of my favourite cruising grounds, Kotor Bay, Montenegro. There's no better place to see what this quirky little boat has to offer. Let's get going. I'm Jack Haines, welcome to Yachtbuyer. Let's start at slow speed, shall we? Because obviously that's an important part of handling a boat like this, what it's like to manoeuvre. And well, with two Volvo Penta engine options, diesel and petrol, and the diesel version here, the D4300s, we've got the optional joystick fitted. So that means that, much like with IPS, you hit docking and then you have the boat under full joystick control. And actually on a boat of this size with the twin stern drives, it's very manoeuvrable. On larger stern drive boats, sometimes you feel like the legs are struggling a little bit to get the bow to do what you want. But here, even without high power mode on, it really does twist from side to side quickly, easily, predictably. And it's not just twisting either. The fact that it's a little bit shorter means that they have better control when you move sideways too. You don't get that effect so much of the bow sort of chasing the stern across. It moves sideways nice and evenly. But even if it's not doing that, you've got a bow thruster as well. Side power bow thruster, just to give you that little bit of fine control if you feel you are losing the bow a bit. Now I mentioned that €1.2 million price, you know, it's a lot of dough for a boat of this size, but it does come loaded with kit. And Dominator, I mean, it's a bespoke yacht effectively. You can spec it however you want. You can, okay, the layout is relatively fixed, but in terms of look and finish, materials, marbles, all that sort of thing, that really is where they set themselves apart. You can pretty much do whatever you want. So yes, it's pricey, but it is loaded with kit. So we've got the Seakeeper on at the moment, keeping us nice and stable. As I said, we've got the joystick, you've got Humphrey's interceptor system, we've got a night vision camera, we've got radar. You know, it really is kitted out to the max, and that makes it a very easy boat to drive. So when you're moving along, we'll pop the Seakeeper off. I'll put it in single lever mode so I can just control it off one of these stubby little Volvo controls, and we will up the pace and see what she can do. So as I said, she's got a pair of Volvo Penta D4 300 horsepower engines, stern drives, and yeah, she gets going pretty quickly. It hasn't got the instant punch of the petrol version, which is twin 430 horsepower petrol V8s. That's going to top out at 45 knots. This one's doing about 37, cruising at 25 with the diesels, where you've got a range of around 350 nautical miles. So it's not about top end performance. But what you find is if you sit here at 3000 RPM, you're doing between 23 and 25 knots, 80 litres an hour across both engines. That's a lovely sweet spot. And then you can enjoy that stern drive handling. And this is what I love about setups like this. A lot of this boat's rivals have the same setup: the Fairline F-Line 33, the Windy 32 Grand Zonda, Volvo Penta, twin stern drives, narrow beam, only 3 metres, nice sharp hull. And the result is a truly fabulous driving experience. For my money on the water, there isn't a sweeter pairing than twin stern drives on a boat of this size. It's so nice to handle. Grippy, confidence inspiring, agile, you can really quickly react to the sea state. It just feels like it's on a knife edge, and you can feel the hull really confidently slicing through the water. You are very connected to the elements on this boat. It's got that really distinctive, stubby little windscreen that really follows the lines of the bigger Ilumen 28. And it's not going to do anything to protect you from the rain or anything like that, but it means you've got this fantastic view forward, whether you're standing or you can put this Bezens only seat up and down. It's controlled by the touch of a button. You can put it down, it bolsters, so you can sit and get a bit more protection. But I really like this standing driving position, and the all-round view is absolutely tremendous. You've got these nice glass sides as well, so you can see the water pouring off the hull. You're looking down this lovely teak foredeck that just drops off. It's a unique driving experience, it really is. And because you're so in touch with the water, when you chuck a few turns in, you can really enjoy the boat's dynamics. It does feel absolutely lovely in the turns. It's definitely a boat for sunny weather. There isn't much protection, but on a day like this, it really doesn't matter. It's absolutely lovely. And actually, it is surprisingly practical. There's a bit of style over substance with this boat, but that's not the case of the Helm station. All the controls fall to hand really easily. I've got a mix of Garmin and Ray Marine instrumentation. It's another thing that Dominator will do. If you want specific electronics, they'll do it. I can really easily interact with the trim system, the throttles. I've got a charger down here for my phone, holding my phone in place, twin screens so I can split engine information and charting software. Yeah, it's fab. I don't think the material they've used here on the dash is liking being the elements very much. That's something they're going to change. There's a few little tweaks they're going to make across the boat, and that's one of them. But in terms of the layout, the functionality, it's a great position. And yeah, 350 nautical miles at 25 knots to cruise around the Med, going to your favourite bay, your favourite cala, heading out to the beach. You'd have a lot of fun doing it on this thing, and my word, is it a head turner. You pull into a marina on this and yeah, the camera phones come out. If you're the shy retiring type, a bit of a recluse, then this probably isn't for you. But yeah, it's something a bit different. And it's an absolute joy to drive, it really is. Well, let's explore this lovely area then. I think we should head into the Bay of Kotor, slow things down a bit, and have a look around the deck. I mentioned that this is one of my favourite cruising grounds, and well, this is why. This is the Bay of Kotor. You've got Kotor town itself tucked in the corner of this inlet, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you have geography of just epic proportions. This is one of the biggest inlets in Southern Europe, and you have these towering mountain hills all the way around. And then in the middle of this enormous bay, you have these two islets. One is natural, this one on this side, but this islet here is actually man-made, and they created this by filling the hulls of damaged boats with rocks, sinking them, piling them on top of each other until they built this, this man-made islet, and then they plonked the Our Ladies of the Rocks church, the Catholic church, on top. It's spectacular. It's otherworldly, to be honest. And it is one of those areas that's just a real privilege to be able to enjoy from a boat. There's nothing quite like it. So the scenery is setting the tone perfectly, I think, to stop and have a bit of a closer look around the boat. Let's start back here then, shall we? And I'll point out from the off, this is hull number 1, and there are lots of little changes that we've already got planned for hull number 2, just the sort of stuff you learn as you use the boat. And one of those is to change the catches, because back here where you have access to the shore power and the diesel filler and the deck shower, they've got locking catches where really obviously you just want a little pull catch. So they're going to change those throughout the boat because that's just a little bit too complicated at the moment. You've got some pop-out cleats down here, stubby little fixed bathing platform, and of course a ladder that drops out so you can get in and out of the water. And then you have this central walkway flanked by these two sun pads. Get a couple of people on here, no problem. You've got your drinks holders down here, and nice to see a decent handrail integrated very nicely into that coaming there. That looks really smart. It's a step down into the cockpit, and I should point out that actually to get to the engines, these two hatches lift independently. You take the cushions off and there's a hatch in there with some storage beneath it, deep enough for a few lines and some fenders, and then you push a button and both lift up on rams, and you have access to both of the D4 300 horsepower diesels independently. Quite easy engine access actually. And then down here in the cockpit, it's very seating focused. It's sort of this mix of chase boat, tender, but also leisure boat. So there's plenty of space to stretch out, and it's really well protected as well. You drop right down, you've got these high sides here with the glass, so you still have a great connection to the water, but you do feel nice and secure in here, and it's very well protected. It's got a stubby windscreen, but certainly in terms of breeze coming in on the beam, it's nice and sheltered in here. And of course that's helped by having this optional carbon fibre hardtop. Unless you really welcome sunstroke, I'd definitely go for it. It just really helps with the flexibility of this space, and you've got the built-in fabric Webasto sunroof, so you can let the sunshine in if you want to. Another option is a table, which I definitely have, which means you can prepare lunch here and use it as a dining area, not just a loafing area. And talking of that, under here is where you find the barbecue. I mentioned about them changing the catches, and this is an instant where they need to do that, because at the moment you need to use this vacuum to pop open this hatch. But yeah, you can see the barbecue. The other thing they're going to add is a lift system, so that this comes up to a more useful height. Not particularly easy to use it at that level. And that's where your barbecue is. And then on the other side you have a similar hatch underneath there, but that's just a bit more storage. Around here there are some nice touches, so you have induction charging for your mobile phone built in here to the teak on both sides. You've got a couple of cup holders. Do they pass the Yachtbuyer bottle test? Yes, they do. There's some deep storage down there as well. Down here we have the all-important ice maker. Opposite you have a couple of drawer fridges underneath that seating over there, and we'll look at this in a moment, but there is another fridge down there, an under counter fridge, so you have a decent amount of cooling space, which, you know, cold drinks, bit of lunch, that really is what this boat's about. Deck hatches, these generally give access to technical areas. Fuel tank, seakeeper access is down here, so that's all pretty easy to get to and separate from the machinery space. Moving forward, there's no side decks. That's why this cockpit can be so wide. It's only got a 3.2 metre beam, but they have pushed the cockpit right to the edge of it, so it does maximise the space here. But that means that you need to go forward via this staircase. They've built in this beautifully engineered hatch here that gives you a bit of headroom to walk forward. It's a little bit cumbersome at the moment. It's probably a two-man job to be safe, but it is a lovely bit of kit, and it does give you that, crucially, space to move forward and up onto the foredeck over this stubby little windscreen. And yeah, this is your working area. Not a particularly easy place to crew. You've got your fender eyes here. Obviously there are no railings, so they've got these fender eyes dotted all over the boat, and you just loop the fenders through and then put the pin into the deck. It does mean they're in set positions, but it means you can very easily slot them on and off and stow them in this huge locker here. Now at the moment it opens up this way, and I think another change they're going to make on hull 2 is to make it open this way, because it's just a bit awkward to open it from the bow there. You just need to be quite nimble to do the crewing up here, which is probably why you see no cutaways of me doing it. But you've got pop-up cleats here, and that locker is big enough to hold pretty much all of the boat's fenders, and that's also where the anchor mechanism is. You push a button, the whole arm comes out like this, and then it sits out front to deploy the anchor. But you could have a through hull anchor if you prefer. Arguable. It doesn't look quite as good, but it is easier than having to bring the anchor in and out every time. So there is quite a lot of form over function up here. It looks good, but it is a bit more challenging to crew than its rivals. That's the outside then. Let's go and have a look at the interior. Here we are in the interior then, and as you can see, for somebody of 6 foot, headroom isn't great, so it's a bit of a stooping situation. Of course, you're going to be sitting down here most of the time if you are down here, whether you're in there or whether you are in here. And this also converts into a double bed. The table drops down, there's an infill cushion, and you have yourself a double bed here. You've got blinds to cover up all the windows, you've got a nice sky hatch here as well. We've got air conditioning fitted to this boat. Access is actually underneath this staircase here, but you can open up the hatch as well to get a bit of natural ventilation down here. And this is where you can really make your mark on the boat. You can see we've got lots of nice marble here, the grey upholstery, the orange scatter cushions, grey wood. But if you wanted a totally different colour scheme, totally bespoke to your taste, that matches car, house, wash bag, whatever, you can do that down here and really make your mark on it. So okay, it's a sleeping space. It's going to be very occasional, I imagine. It's just a nice place to come out, get the air conditioning, cool down a bit, obviously use the loo, but they have put some useful stuff in here. So you've got another fridge underneath this counter. We've got a nice big sink over here under this marble top. So you've got a nice sink there. There's a little bit more storage down here. There's enough space down here for a coffee machine and some coffee pods. So all the essentials are taken care of. And then here we have the bathroom, which is really nicely finished actually. Again, headroom isn't great, but it's got a nice big Tecmar toilet. You've got a nice bit of marble there, big wide sink. It's nicely done, but the pièce de résistance has to be the clever glass. Touch this button here on this control, and you have instant privacy. Such a cool idea. You know, this whole project came about because an owner of a 28 meter Ilumen said, hey Dominator, can you make me a smaller, more fun version? And they have done an admirable job of scaling that boat down into this 10 meter design that has such different usage from the mini super yacht it's based on. And there are compromises that come with doing that. There are things that are done on this boat that are style over substance, but it is truly different, a real breath of fresh air, something that people stand up and take notice of. And the exciting thing is what they can do with this platform now they've got it. This one is slightly caught between being a tender and a day boat, but they're gonna do a 15 meter version with a couple of cabins below deck. Now that is an enticing prospect. There you go, that's the Dominator Midi Ilumen 35M. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you'd like to watch more of our sea trials, then you can click on this box up here. And if you'd like to subscribe to the Yachtbuyer channel, then you can click up here. Thanks for watching.